everybody. This recording will cover week 2/chapter 2 assignments. There are 2 assignments for week 2, chapter 2. So you will respond, or you will post, excuse me, and respond to a discussion board prompt, and then you will also complete an application exercise from the textbook. So let's talk about the 2 of those very quickly. So the discussion board, remember, make sure you read this part. This is taken just right from the syllabus. You're going to enter, make your original post, and then you will also need to respond to at least 2 of your peers, okay? And remember, it's okay to not agree with the post, but make sure to do so respectfully. All right, so your prompt for week 2, chapter 2, this is chapter 2, designing lessons, skills, and strategies. So what you will do after you read chapter 2, I want you to answer the following questions in an original response posted to the discussion board. You can certainly do these in either order. Of course, you can do the discussion board first and then the application exercise. This is just how I have them listed on the syllabus, so that's just how, in the order that I will talk about them. So for chapter 2, again, you're going to read chapter 2, look at the PowerPoints with sound if you wanted to, and then answer these questions. Remember, you will post an original response first, okay? It is helpful for me if you kind of put your last name and just kind of say, Fries, chapter 2 discussion board prompt or something like that, just so I can see that it is your original post. All right, so the questions are, number 1, why is it important to elicit frequent student responses? Number 2, why is it important to closely monitor student responses? And number 3, what are some ways to maintain student attention during a lesson? So I want you to use a textbook, but you are certainly welcome to use outside resources if you want. You don't have to, but if you want, or if you're in a situation, if you're out in a classroom now and you have some experience, you can talk about some of these things and how important it is to maintain student attention and why, what are some ways to maintain student attention. Okay, so use a textbook as your primary resource, but again, if you wanted to kind of branch out a little bit, that is fine as well. You certainly don't have to. So I want you to provide at least 3 to 4 sentences or bullet points for each question. Okay, so number 1, and you don't have to rewrite the question in the discussion board, but you could just write number 1, here's my sentences or my bullet points. Number 2, here's my sentences or my bullet points. Number 3, here are my sentences or my bullet points. Okay, just so I know what you're answering. So at least 3 to 4 sentences or bullet points for each question, and then don't forget to respond to at least 2 of your peers. All right, so pretty straightforward. We're still just kind of getting into this whole explicit instruction thing. So I want you to think about, why is it important to elicit frequent student responses? Why is it important to closely monitor student responses? And what are some ways to maintain student attention during a lesson? And think back to what we talked about in chapter 1, thinking about kind of that allocated time and that engaged time and that active time. So think about some of those things that we talked about in chapter 1 when you make your prompt. Again, it would be helpful for me if you just kind of say, Fries, or your last name, don't put Fries, Fries, chapter 2 discussion board. And then after you make your post, then you want to make sure to respond to at least 2 of your peers. All right, so that's the discussion board part of the assignment. And then the next one, we're going to use your textbook. So this is, it's called Application Exercise 2.2. It's on page 34. And what I want you to do, you will look at the application exercise 2.2 in your textbook. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. Analyses of lesson opening, modeling, and prompted or guided practice. Ooh, that should be not a comma. So as you're looking at this, what do you notice is missing from this title of this application exercise? Lesson opening, modeling, and prompted or guided practice. Well, hopefully you said independent practice, first of all, right? And then maybe closure, assessment, something like that. But we'll get to those in future chapters. So this one, we're just going to look at the lesson opening, modeling, and prompted or guided practice. So I want you to, or the directions say, as I'll show you in a second, carefully analyze the modeling and guided practice steps in this lesson, reflecting on these questions. What good practices occur during the opening of the lesson? I'll show you the lesson in just one second, but it's also in your textbook, page 34. If you have the e-text, the page numbers might be a little bit different. I do not have the full e-text. I have the old school textbook, but I'll show you what it looks like so you'll know, and it is called Application Exercise 2.2. If you have the hard copy or, an actual physical textbook, it is page 34. So sorry, I wanted to mention that. What good practices occur during the opening of the lesson? What positive practices are used during the modeling? And how does the teacher prompt students during prompted or guided practice? And hopefully you're starting to think, these questions right here kind of go along with some stuff up here, right? So again, you may want to look through the chapter, do this application exercise first, and then come back to the discussion board. You may want to do the discussion board first and then come back to the application exercise. However works best for you is fine with me. So you will answer these questions right in a Word document. I have the Word document prepared. So all you're going to do is answer questions 1, 2, and 3. I would prefer sentences. I guess you could do bullet points for this one also. I know up here I said sentences or bullet points. So same thing down here. 3 to 4, maybe more if you can find some, sentences, bullet points. What good practices occur during the opening of the lesson? What positive practices are used during the modeling? And then how does the teacher prompt students during prompted or guided practice? So again, you will answer you'll answer these questions right in a Word document and submit your answers to application 2.2 as your assignment. Okay, so your assignment, remember again, is the application exercise and the discussion board. After you submit, don't be cheaters, because I can tell. No, I can't really. But then after you submit, you can compare your answers with the answers in the textbook that are found on pages 253 to 254. Okay, but let me show you what it looks like in your textbook. So it looks like this. It just has a nice little box around it. And we will do a couple of these application assignments from the textbook. I think they're really, really helpful, and I think they can really help strengthen your understanding. So application 2.2, analyses of lesson opening, modeling, and prompted or guided practice. Here are the directions that I just gave you, and here are the questions. What good practices occur during the opening? What positive practices are used during the modeling? How does the teacher prompt students during prompted or guided practice? Okay, so you're going to look right here. So you're going to start with the background group, background information. So it looks like this is 7th graders in a supplemental reading class. You might call it a study skills class or a resource class or an extra instruction kind of class, something like that, okay? So it tells you about the prior instruction, strategy to be taught, goal of the lesson, large goal, and prerequisite skills. And mind you, this is all the information right? These couple pages. So you can assume other things if you want to. I don't think you have to. I think they do a nice job of kind of giving you the information that you need to know. So there's the background information, and look, it's not upside down. I get very excited when my scanner scans correctly. So here's the opening of the lesson. Okay, it starts with gaining students' attention, does all these things. Here's the body of the lesson, where we're really getting into the modeling, right? So first the teacher introduces the strategy, then my turn, I'm going to do it. Watch me. Okay, here's the model. So here's the model, here's the model. Then we get into the prompted or guided practice. We do it, right? We're going to tell them what to do, or the teacher's going to, tell the students what to do. And then they get into some kind of a further step in the prompted or guided practice, ask them what to do. So really involving them in the prompted or guided practice, telling them what to do and asking them what to do. Okay, and then prompted or guided practice, we do it, and then here the teacher reminds them what to do. All right, so here's kind of, just where the page ends. So again, it's pages 34 through 37. So you want to look for good practices during the opening, which would be this section right here, right? Whoop, 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 whoop. Pretend I'm drawing a little box around it. That's our opening. Okay, what positive practices are used during the modeling? So that would be where it says body of the lesson. That would be the introduction and the modeling. That would be to here. Okay. Here's my imaginary little box. That's all modeling. And then the third question, how does the teacher prompt students during prompted or guided practice? So that would start right here, prompted or guided practice. And there's this paragraph, and this paragraph about the prompted or guided practice. Okay. So that, again, it's in your textbook, application 2.2. Remember, if you have the e-text, the page number might be a little different, but it is still application 2.2. Okay, so you're going to, again, post to the discussion board. Why is it important to elicit frequent student responses? Why is it important to closely monitor student responses? What are some ways to maintain student attention during a lesson? Post yours, and then your post, and then don't forget to respond to at least 2 of your peers, and then also complete application exercise 2.2 on page 34 and answer these 3 questions in a Word document. Okay, I think that's about it. I hope you're getting into the textbook. I hope you see how, hopefully relevant this textbook and explicit instruction in general will be to you in the future. I do want you to remember that good instruction is good instruction. And hopefully you will take that away from this textbook. All right, that's about it. I will be back with week 3, chapter 3.